FLW Tour Pro Casey Scanlon here. We're in my garage and we're doing a little maintenance today on the Mercury. I got my Mercury ProXS right here, and we're just going to change the gear lube in the lower unit. It's something we all need to do a little bit more often. It's just going to prevent wear and tear on that lower unit, and it's going to cause you not to have any issues. I change the gear lube every 2 to 3 weeks, 20 to 30 hours. I'm going to change it. It's going to cause you a lot of less headache. You're never going to lose a lower unit that way. So I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. It's super easy, and it doesn't take a lot of time. Basically, I'm going to start with a 2x4, 2x6, and I'm just going to get this wedged in the prop right here. So I'm just going to turn this prop until it bites, and then I'm just going to get some leverage. I got a 1 1/8 inch socket right here, and I'm just going to take this prop off. I like to raise the motor up a little bit, just so it's more comfortable for you to get leverage and wrench this prop off. So once I get the prop nut loose, I'm just going to spin it off by hand, and I'm going to take my prop off. There's a couple washers in here, and we just need to keep track of all that stuff. So basically all I'm going to do, a few washers right here, or spacers. Those go on the top of the prop. So I'm just going to keep all this together, set it on the floor, and kind of line it up the way it came off. So now I'm going to pull this prop off, set it on the ground. We got our prop sleeve right here, our hub. Take that off. And right down here, if you can notice, that's where the gear lube is going to go into the motor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that screw off. We got this screw right here, and that's going to vent this lower unit right here, and it's going to allow the gear lube to drain out. So I'm going to unscrew both of those. So what I want to do is lower my motor down, get something that's going to catch your oil. So let that water drain out of there so it don't mix with the oil quite as bad. Get something to catch the oil. Get you a big screwdriver. You need something pretty thick there. Flathead screwdriver. And now all I'm going to do is take my screwdriver and loosen this up here. I'm going to take it completely out. All right, so I've got that completely out. I'm going to set it here with the rest of our stuff. Notice no gear lubes coming out of here. We also got a little blue gasket deal. You get them right there at the parts store. You can get them at any marina. Just tell them what motor you got, and they're going to help you find the right one for it. So those blue ones are the ones I use. They always fit. They usually got blue and yellow ones. So now we got our next screw on the top here. This is going to allow that gear lube to leak out here. So I'm going to unscrew that. I'm not going to take it out all the way. I'm just going to unscrew it enough for it to vent, and you can see it starts coming out of the motor right there. So this is going to take a little bit. This is going to be the longest part of the process right here, is letting that gear lube drain out. So I'm going to give it a few minutes, do some other things around here in the shop, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to put the gear lube in and put your prop back on, and then you'll be back to fishing. So now our gear lube is drained out of the motor and we're ready to put new gear lube in. You want to use the high performance gear lube from Mercury. This is the only stuff you want to put in there. Make sure it's the high performance. It says SAE 90 on it. I know I put SAE 80 in my inboard, so make sure that you have the high performance gear lube here. So anyways, what we're going to do here, they got a little kit right here, which is no more than this pump kit, and it has this little fixture on the end that screws right into the bottom of your lower unit here, so it makes it super easy. And you're just going to pump the gear lube in there. So right where I took that screw out, I'm just going to screw this little plastic piece right in there on the pump. Just give it a couple screws so it's semi-tight in there, not going to leak. So now that it's on there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pump that gear lube in there. It'll take 1 quart, sometimes a little bit more, and what you want to do is you want to pump on this thing and fill it up until you see the gear lube coming out of this hole right over here. So I'm just going to sit here. It's boring. You should probably get a stool or a bucket or something to sit on so you don't ruin your knee like I'm doing, but you're just going to sit here and pump this whole quart into the lower unit until it starts to pump out this top hole over here on your lower unit that we took out earlier. So I'm just going to sit here until the contents of this bottle are empty, until I see it running out of here. If it happens that I, empty this bottle out right here and I'm not seeing the gear lube come out, typically I'll buy 2 quarts. Even though it should only take 1 quart, I'll buy 2 because you want to make sure that it's full and that you're draining out this top port right here. So in the case that it takes a little bit more than a quart, I'll just put a new bottle on this and do it again, and just add, usually it only take another couple of pumps from another container to fill it up, but always make sure that you're dripping out of this top hole up here. It should be coming like any second. All right, so now we can see we've got it draining out of our lower unit here. It's okay to spill a little bit. That just means we got it full. So at this point, I'm going to take our short cap here. Okay, we got 2 screws that we took out. The short one always goes on top. And I'm going to add our little blue O-ring to it. And I'm going to screw it in. All right, and I'm just going to hand tighten it. All right, that'll keep a lot of this gear lube in the motor, and it's going to keep it from draining out. But if you tighten it really, really tight, and you got a lot of pressure in here, sometimes when you unscrew this, it'll spit back at you. So I got another O-ring here, and I've got our bottom screw ready to go. It's the longer screw. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, put that O-ring on there before I unscrew this so I can put it in pretty fast. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I'm just going to unscrew this. And when I get it unscrewed, I'm going to, as quickly as possible, put this other one in here. It's not like an urgent thing, but you want to get it in there pretty fast so you don't lose a lot of gear lube. So let me just untwist this a little bit. And now we put that screw in. We lost very, very little gear lube. I'm going to take my screwdriver here, and I'm just going to screw it the rest of the way in. So now we have got this thing tightened up on the bottom. I'm going to finish tightening up the top right here. All right, so put a good crank on both of those. We got oily hands, so we'll wipe that off and just double check, make sure that we got everything tightened up. So give this one more little quick check here. All right, we look good to go. I'm going to clean some of this excess gear lube off of here real quick, just so we don't have a bunch of stuff in the water. So now we're ready to put our prop on. We'll start with the prop hub here. You simply slide it on, get it into place. Then we're going to take our prop, slide that back onto the hub. All right, got it nice and snug. Now we got our 2 washers here and our prop nut. And all we're going to do is finish it off with that. We put actually there's 3 washers here, they just came apart. So big washer goes on first, the big thick one, then the 2 smaller ones, just common sense there. And so anyways, you're going to finish it off with your prop hub, or with your prop nut rather. We'll get it up on there, find your 2x4, 2x6, and get your 1 1/4 inch socket here, and we'll just tighten that up. So now we're ready to tighten the prop nut. So we'll take our 2x4, we'll get it in here, get it so it locks down that prop. We're just going to tighten it up as tight as we can. No need to over tighten it, but you don't want it loose. You don't want your prop coming off. So I'm just going to get in here and tighten it as hard as I can by hand. And at that point, once you get it tight, you're ready to hit the water and catch some fish. All right, so now we've got our prop on. We've got our gear lube changed. It only took us about 15 minutes. It was super easy to do. And it's going to prevent any damages to your lower unit, and it's going to prolong the life of that lower unit. So hopefully this tip helped you change the gear lube on your lower unit, and hopefully it's going to help you stay on the water and catch a lot more fish.